Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to talk getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and today we're going to take a look at the Idoneth Deepkin, and in particular, the Mor'phann sub-faction from the army. In this video, we're going to go through and talk about everything that makes a Mor'phann army special, what it does that no other Idoneth Deepkin army does, the special rules it gives us, and then we'll take a look at some units we can use to start our Mor'phann army with. We'll then take a look at some other units we can use to expand upon those initial purchases to start creating our first 1000 point army list for our Mor'phann Idoneth Deepkin army, before finally finishing off the video with a little sample army list for you to use as some inspiration for creating your own Idoneth Deepkin army using the Mor'phann subfaction. And so, with all of that said, what do we get with this subfaction? And it is pretty simple, really. The best thing we get about this is the Lula ability from the Soul Renders, which can return models back to our Namadi units. Every time it affects a unit, we add 3 to the number of slain models returned to that unit. So this just means we've got a ton more models coming back to the battlefield thanks to this cool ability piling onto. Now, it should note that this works only for, obviously, Mor'phann keyworded Soul Renders, so this doesn't work with Elethane Ill-Fated, the Underworld's Warband's Soul Render, because he has the Iron Rat keyword and this can't gain the Mor'phann keyword. This does work on regular Soul Renders, meaning you'll return, you can return up to 3 slain models to that unit instead of any enemy models. Pretty cool stuff. So, you can get like 6 models back a unit a turn from each of your Soul Renders. Really nice. Now, obviously, the place to start with this is, well, the Soul Render. Like, your ability for the army is working around them, so they are the hero you're going to want to bring. They're not too shabby. 4+ save, 4 attacks with their Talon Hook in close combat, and 3s and 3s, Ren 1 damage 2, and then another 3 attacks at 3 3s, Ren 1 damage 1 from the serrated bill of his little Razorfish next to him. Now, the Lure Light ability is, at the end of the Battle Shock phase, you can pick a friendly Namadi unit, hold within 18 inches of this unit, and return up to D3 slain models. You return 3, however, if any enemy models were slain by the Talon Hook in the same turn. The same unit cannot be affected by a Lure Light from more than 1 model per turn. You've also got the Hangman's Knot, where once per battle, at the end of the combat phase, you can pick an enemy model that has a wounds characteristic of 7 or less that does not have a mount and is within 3 inches of this unit. Roll 2d6. If the roll is greater than that model's wound characteristic, it is slain. So you've got a nice little once per game slaying ability here, which is pretty cool. On top of that, you've got a 5-up ward built in on your Ishran characters, which is really nice. So a solid start to an Idoneth Deepkin army. Now, obviously, along with this, you're going to want to go with some Namati Thralls. These are your close combat troops. Move 6, 5-up save, 1 wound, and bravery 7. They have 2 attacks each at a 2-inch range with 3s and 3s, Ren 1 damage 1 coming out of them. So a pretty solid, punchy unit. They also have their sweeping blows, where they add 1 to the attacks characteristic of their blades if the enemy unit has a wounds characteristic of 1, and you also add 1 to the damage characteristic instead if the target has a wounds characteristic at 3 or more. So these guys actually can make really interesting damage dealers for your fours. Really just punching up those damage levels, well, they can be a little bit flimsy on their own. Looking at where to go next, and something I really like is the Achillean Thrallmaster. Now, first of all, before we even get into any of his War Scroll abilities, something he unlocks that really doesn't combo with a lot of the other heroes that work alongside Thralls is that he's an Achillean unit. Your Achillean King mostly works with other Achillean units, but your Achillean Thrallmaster, well, works with Thralls. And your Namati units. So what he brings to the table is access to Achillean command traits as well. So if he's your general, you can get some of the really nice Achillean command traits that you have access to. Now his esoteric weapons, 5 attacks, 3s and 3s, Ren 1 damage 2 is pretty nice. Another 2 attacks at 3s and 4s, no Ren damage 1 from his Snapjaw Eel around him. But his Achillean fighting stance is really where it comes in. At the start of the combat phase, you can pick one of the following fighting stances for a unit to use. Each of these abilities lasts until the end of that phase. You can reroll hit rolls of attacks made with melee weapons by this unit and friendly Namati units holding within 12 inch. And you can choose to either, in modified hit rolls of a 6, generate an additional hit, or you can choose to subtract 1 from wound rolls wholly within 12 inch for this and any friendly Namati units wholly within 12 inch. So you can choose to do some cool things. This does mean you can stack these abilities with multiple Thrallmasters, which is really nice. Now, obviously, a Namarti force, so let's look at our other Namarti unit, which are the Namarti Reavers. 170 points gets you a 1 wound, 5 up save, 8-inch move shooting unit. 2 shots with their whisper bows, 3s and 3s, round 1 damage 1 at an 18-inch range. They also add 1 to their hit rolls for the missile weapons if the target is within 9-inch of the attacking model. So you can get some bonuses to hit there as well, which is really cool. Now, moving on to other characters, there are a couple of things I really like. The Ishran Soulscryer is really cool. First of all, he is a priest, so you can give access to something like Curse, which can go really nicely onto units like your Thralls and onto your Reavers, which have a lot of attacks coming out of them. And his Finder of Ways ability is really nice, where you can bring some units in from the sideboard from reserve alongside him. The Ishran Tidecaster is the last model I think is really cool. First of all, it's a wizard, which is really nice. And then you've got the Master of the Ether Sea, where you can choose 2 different Ifran rituals to influence the Ether Sea during the battle instead of 1 if this model is included in the army. And you've got some pretty cool spells on there for -1 to hit. And you do have some nice spells in the Idoneth Deepkin lore as well. And so here we have our sample army list for you. We're in the Mor'phann Enclave from Shaish, because this actually is from Shaish. There's some cool narrative based around this. Now, I've gone for the Grand Strategy Namarti Assault here. I think this is actually a really cool one to have for your army. So, Namarti Assault, when the battle ends, you complete this Grand Strategy if 2 or more friendly Namarti units are within 3-inch of enemy units, or if the only battle line units on the table are Namarti. We've only got battle line Namarti units in this army. So this for me is just a better version of trying to wipe out your opponent's battle line, or indeed you've got another option if you haven't managed to, trying to get these in combat just to keep them to survive. Now we've gone for our leader here, who is going to be the Achillean Thrallmaster, our general. And we've got the Lord of Storm and Sea command trait, and the reason why I really like this command trait on this army is it stops battle shock tests taking place. It is worth remembering the Ishran Soul Remember's ability triggers at the end of the battle shock phase. So this is after battle shock tests are made, meaning, you know, if we fail a battle shock test and the unit runs, we can't use the Soul Render's ability. So being able to be immune to battle shock is really nice. Now we've then got 2 Ishran Soul Renders. The first one here has got the Rune of Surging Gloomtide, which will bring another Gloomtide shipwreck to the table, which is really cool, enabling us to get more 5-up wards across the table. And then we've also got an additional artifact in the army, thanks to our Command Entourage Magnificent Battalion, putting in a Arcane Tome and the spell Levitate. What I like about Levitate, it gives fly to our Namarti units, really helping us. A lot of things with Idoneth Deepkin is their ability to have such good maneuverability across the table, which is mainly due to things like eels, sharks, and alapexes all flying across the table. Now, so Levitate, I think, is a really useful spell. Battleline wise, 2 units of 20 Namarti Thralls and a unit of 10 Namarti Thralls, all in Expert Conquerors, meaning they count as 3 models on objectives. Now, you certainly could go with making these units into your Bounty Hunters as well. They would certainly work well. They'd get a decent amount of damage popping out. I think you've got plenty in there with damage 2. You should be able to hit most other Galatian veterans pretty nice. They will be susceptible to enemy Bounty Hunters, but I think this is a solid little fun play. And then you've got, obviously, the additional enhancement in there, the artifact. We've got Expert Conquerors and Command Entourage Magnificent. Perfect 1,000 points, 2 reinforced out of 2 reinforced units used. No allies. 65 wounds is nice, especially when you consider we are going to bringing models back, and 6 drops. If you've been playing with Idoneth Deepkin and if you've tried out your Namarti army on the table, let us know how you've been going and what you would do down in the comments below. That's the end of the video, everyone. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, drop us a comment down below in the comments section and let us know what you enjoyed about the video and what you'd like to see more of on the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here we have at Cinderful Gaming, you can do so on our Discord server, which is linked in the video's description. Also linked in the video's description is our Patreon and YouTube members, where you can go to help support the channel and allow us to keep doing what we're doing. As a special thank you to our Patreons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons: Christian Weir, Soren, Greenskins Gaming, Kenny Lower, Alder and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ant, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Derek and Giappi390, and to our YouTube members: Greenroots Gaming, Kenton Young, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, and Monty's Tabletop Terrain. And lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Thank you all for watching. Once again, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now, everyone.